NASA just confirmed something absolutely terrifying that has astronomers worldwide in complete panic mode. A colossal new object has breached our solar system, and this thing makes 3I/ATLAS look like a grain of sand. We're talking about something 100 times bigger, with a tail so enormous it stretches across multiple degrees of night sky. But here's the really disturbing part. This massive visitor isn't behaving like any natural space object should. Instead of drifting randomly, it's emitting organized energy patterns and following what appears to be a programmed flight path. So what exactly is this gigantic intruder? Is it natural, or could we be staring at something artificially constructed? And why is it heading straight toward our sun with such calculated precision? When space got really weird, something absolutely bizarre happened on September 12th, 2025, that completely changed how we think about what's floating around in space. The SOHO spacecraft detected this tiny flickering anomaly that most scientists just brushed off as typical space junk. But then Michael Mattiaso, just some guy with a telescope in his backyard in Australia, took a picture that made every astronomer on Earth drop their coffee. This thing had a tail so ridiculously massive it covered 5 full moons worth of sky. Not 5 moons in a row, but the actual width of 5 full moons stacked together. Nobody had ever seen anything like it before. This object got the official designation C2025R2 Swan, but calling it a comet or asteroid would be like calling a fighter jet a paper airplane. Swan was pulsing with organized energy patterns, following what looked like a programmed schedule, and blazing toward our sun with terrifying precision. When the James Webb Telescope pointed its incredibly powerful instruments at this cosmic giant, the data that came back completely destroyed every rule in the astronomy textbook. The spectral analysis revealed something that shouldn't exist naturally anywhere in the universe. This wasn't some chunk of ice and rock drifting through space. This was definitely machinery, the tail that broke physics. The sheer size of Swan's tail made 3I/ATLAS look like a tiny pebble next to a skyscraper. We're talking about something stretching 2.5 degrees across the night sky, which is absolutely insane when you understand cosmic scales. But size wasn't the only thing that made scientists lose their minds. While 3I/ATLAS seemed to have some kind of thrust system, Swan had what appeared to be a glowing plasma shield that was actually bending and deflecting the solar wind around itself. This wasn't ice melting off a comet as it got closer to the sun. This was a legitimate energy shield protecting something inside. The orbit calculations revealed something even more disturbing. Swan wasn't just making a quick trip past our solar system like a cosmic tourist. It comes back every 22,554 years, which is longer than all of recorded human civilization. Objects don't naturally follow orbital patterns like that unless someone or something programmed them to do exactly that. Inside a metal monster. When James Webb got a detailed look at Swan's composition, the results shattered every known category in space science. The spectroscopic data showed this thing was made of nickel-cobalt alloy, an ultra-dense metallic structure that has never been observed occurring naturally anywhere in space. Even more terrifying was the discovery of tightly controlled plasma emissions shooting out in organized pulses, rather than the chaotic randomness you'd expect from natural objects. The tail everyone was staring at turned out to be exhaust. Not water vapor or ice chunks, but chemically perfect exhaust containing carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and dense streams of ionized nickel plasma. These weren't natural releases from heating up near the sun. They were precise course corrections, like a spacecraft making calculated adjustments to its flight path. The color shifts from red to white to green during acceleration gave away the truth completely. That's the exact signature of a plasma drive system making burn adjustments. Webb confirmed that this object has an active power source pumping out more than 10,000 gigawatts per second. That's equivalent to the energy released when 2 black holes collide, somehow contained inside what looks like a ship. 2 ships playing cosmic tag. Here's where things got absolutely mind-blowing. Swan's trajectory wasn't random at all. It was precisely calculated to meet up with 3I/ATLAS at almost exactly the same time in October 2025. On a cosmic scale, this timing is mathematically impossible to achieve by pure chance. Swan was approaching from the direction of Aquarius, while Atlas emerged from Sagittarius. Completely different starting points in opposite directions of the galaxy, yet somehow their flight paths were programmed to converge within 50 million kilometers of each other. What are the actual odds of two interstellar objects from totally different directions meeting up behind the sun where no telescope on Earth can observe what happens? This wasn't some incredible cosmic coincidence. This was carefully choreographed space ballet. Some researchers think SWAN was sent specifically to intercept Atlas, maybe to retrieve it, destroy it, or initiate some kind of contact. Others believe both objects are part of a massive surveillance network that operates on timescales way beyond anything humans can imagine. If that theory is correct, then our sun isn't just another random star these things happen to pass by. It's a specific destination, a focal point, maybe even some kind of interdimensional gateway. Ancient humans knew something. The timeline gets really creepy when you dig into human history and ancient monuments. Archaeological evidence suggests SWAN might have passed near Earth roughly 22,000 years ago, right at the end of the last ice age. That's exactly when humans suddenly started building incredible monuments, detailed star maps, and massive pyramids that point directly at specific constellations, like Orion and Aquarius. Were our ancestors actually tracking SWAN's orbital path through space? Were those ancient builders trying to leave warnings about its eventual return? The mathematical precision of structures like the Great Pyramid, Göbekli Tepe, and the Mayan calendar systems suggests our ancestors understood cosmic cycles that modern science is only beginning to figure out. If SWAN has returned exactly on its predicted schedule after 22,000 years, then what we dismiss as mythology might actually be historical records of the last encounter. The difference is that this time we're not just primitive humans watching something fly overhead. This time we have technology, satellites, and the ability to respond. Governments started freaking out. Something really suspicious happened just 72 hours after James Webb published their findings about SWAN being artificial. Governments around the world began acting extremely strange in a coordinated way that screamed cover-up. NASA quickly removed key spectral data from public servers. The European Space Agency issued a vague press release calling SWAN an unusual but explainable comet. China claimed all their telescopes were suddenly broken and under maintenance. What triggered this synchronized information blackout? According to anonymous sources inside the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, intelligence agencies received classified briefings about technological signatures that didn't match anything natural. They found clear evidence of intentional maneuvering, symmetrical structures hidden beneath the glowing outer shell, and controlled emissions proving this object was being actively piloted. World governments figured out SWAN wasn't a comet and decided the public shouldn't know. Meanwhile, military space programs quietly activated emergency protocols. The U.S. Air Force repositioned secret satellites. Russia launched an unscheduled rocket with unknown payload heading toward the ecliptic plane. China moved a fleet of nanosats into a defensive formation above Earth's northern hemisphere. Even more suspicious, NASA quietly adjusted Voyager 1's communications array to point toward SWAN's projected path. The thing started talking. While officials tried controlling the narrative, deep space radio telescopes started detecting something that made everyone's skin crawl. SWAN was actively broadcasting signals toward Earth. Initially dismissed as magnetic interference, pattern analysis revealed these signals weren't random noise. They were mathematical, following the Fibonacci sequence, a universal pattern found in galaxy spirals, DNA structure, and seashell growth. These weren't the death screams of a comet breaking apart. These were instructions or intentional communication. The time intervals between signal bursts kept getting shorter, like something was counting down to a specific moment. The final transmission had a sudden power spike equivalent to a solar flare, despite originating from deep space. Behind closed doors, multiple nations believed SWAN could trigger dangerous chain reactions if it got too close to the sun. Some theorists argued it might be a relay node, a gravitational switch, or even a cosmic key designed to unlock something hidden in the sun's magnetic field. The most chilling information came from retired engineers who helped build the Voyager program. They revealed that Voyager 1 wasn't just sent to leave the solar system, it was built to watch what comes in, that eye in the sky. The most disturbing discovery happened when James Webb managed to peer inside SWAN's glowing outer shell, during a brief observation window. For exactly 0.37 seconds, a perfectly spherical metallic structure became visible before disappearing again. This wasn't natural rock or ice. It was smooth, artificial, and radiating heat at an impossibly stable temperature. The most terrifying part was what analysts called an iris, a dark central void with symmetrical ridges around it that looked exactly like an artificial eye. This eye structure resembles deep-sea creatures that evolved to see in absolute darkness, suggesting it might be designed to observe the cosmos in wavelengths far beyond human understanding. But the truly horrifying discovery came from researchers who found that SWAN's signal frequencies matched Earth's own early satellite communication systems, particularly Cold War-era satellites. One harmonic even matched the famous WOW signal from 1977. SWAN had been listening to humanity's transmissions for decades and was now responding using our own electromagnetic language. When researchers ran SWAN's transmission data through pattern recognition software, they discovered the signals formed a three-dimensional map pointing to coordinates near the constellation Lyra. Radio telescopes detected a faint echo bouncing back from what should be empty space, suggesting a cloak structure consistent with advanced technology. SWAN isn't just a scout or random visitor, it's part of a network, and Earth is now registered on their map. For decades, we've been sending messages into space hoping someone would answer. Turns out they've been listening all along, and SWAN is their way of saying they heard every single word.